The Bible Stories.
The Sacrifice of Isaac.
Abraham and Sarah were deeply saddened because they had no children, despite longing for one for many years.
Bible verse: Your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac. Genesis chapter 17 verse 19.
God promised Abraham and Sarah a son, but Sarah doubted because of her old age.
Bible verse: Sarah laughed to herself, thinking, After I am worn out and my Lord is old, will I now have this pleasure? Genesis chapter 18 verse 12 through 14.
Sarah gave birth to Isaac in her old age, as God promised, and his name means laughter.
Bible verse: Sarah said, God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me. Genesis chapter 21 verse 6.
On the day Isaac was weaned, Abraham hosted a great feast to celebrate.
Bible verse: The child grew and was weaned, and on the day Isaac was weaned Abraham held a great feast. Genesis chapter 21 verse 8.
Isaac grew up healthy and strong, bringing joy and hope to his family.
Bible verse: Now the Lord was gracious to Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age. Genesis chapter 21 verse 1 through 2.
God commanded Abraham to sacrifice his beloved son Isaac as a burnt offering. Despite his heavy heart, Abraham chose to trust and obey.
Bible verse: Take your son, your only son whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you. Genesis chapter 22 verse 2.
Abraham and Isaac journeyed for 3 days to Mount Moriah. When Isaac asked about the lamb for the offering, Abraham replied, God will provide.
Bible verse: Isaac spoke up and said, The fire and wood are here, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Abraham answered, God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. Genesis chapter 22 verse 7 through 8.
Abraham and Isaac arrived at Mount Moriah and prepared the altar for the sacrifice.
Bible verse: When they reached the place God had told him about, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. Genesis chapter 22 verse 9.
Abraham tied Isaac and placed him on the altar, and Isaac obeyed without any resistance.
Bible verse: Then he reached out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. Genesis chapter 22 verse 10.
At the last moment, an angel told Abraham to stop, recognizing his faith, and Isaac was spared.
Bible verse: But the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham, do not lay a hand on the boy. Now I know that you fear God. Genesis chapter 22 verse 11 through 12.
Abraham saw a ram in the thicket, provided by God as a sacrifice in place of Isaac.
Bible verse: Abraham looked up and there in a thicket he saw a ram caught by its horns. So Abraham called that place, The Lord will provide. Genesis chapter 22 verse 13 through 14.
Abraham sacrificed the ram, thanking God for his provision.
Bible verse: He sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. Genesis chapter 22 verse 13.
God promised that all nations would be blessed through Abraham's descendants.
Bible verse: I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky. Through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed. Genesis chapter 22 verse 17 through 18.
Isaac learned obedience and trust in God through his father's faith.
Bible verse: Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 through 6.
Conclusion and lessons. The story of Isaac's birth and sacrifice teaches us about God's faithfulness, the power of faith, obedience, and the depth of his providence. Abraham demonstrated absolute trust in God by obeying his command, even when asked to sacrifice his only son. God acknowledged Abraham's faith and fulfilled his promise of blessings. Lessons. 1. Obedience and trust. Abraham obeyed God's command and entrusted his most cherished possession to him. His trust and obedience led to immense blessings. Lesson. By trusting and obeying God, we too can experience His marvelous plans and blessings in our lives. 2. God's promises. God promised Abraham a son and fulfilled that promise. He also provided a ram to replace Isaac, demonstrating His awareness of our needs. Lesson. God's promises are trustworthy, and He always provides what we need at the right time. 3. The journey of faith. Abraham's faith was not instant but grew over time through waiting and trials. His journey was one of spiritual maturity and deeper understanding of God. Lesson. Faith is a journey, and through challenges and trials, we grow stronger in our relationship with God. 4. Living in reverence to God. Abraham's deep reverence for God led him to fully surrender to His will, and God recognized his faith. Lesson. A life lived in reverence to God brings joy to Him and opens the door to abundant blessings. 5. God's providence. God provided a ram as a substitute for Isaac, showing that He is aware of our needs and supplies them in His perfect timing. Lesson. God is always with us and provides for us when we trust and rely on Him. This story demonstrates that a life of trusting and obeying God brings blessings and spiritual growth. If we surrender to God and trust His goodness even in difficult times, His promises will surely be fulfilled in our lives.